Welcome to Rainbow Soul, an explorative discussion about spirituality beyond mainstream religions. Hollis Taylor, author, psychic, astrologer, and alchemical mage, brings their non-binary perspective together with fellow drag king and trans man Lacrosse Ortiz, a Jewish Taino with spiritual background of exploration that has led him to an atheist perspective. Join these guys as they explore deep and difficult topics, all related to spirituality, offering a queer perspective, an exploration of interesting topics, and engaging guests to help explore conversations for the Rainbow Soul.
Holy camoles.
What happened? That Mercury retrograde is losing it.
Oh my gosh. Talk about Mercury retrograde.
What? I'm like, wow. I have to hurry up and check my mics. I said, oh, okay, are my mics on?
Yeah, I'm like, I hope everything works.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I just had to leave that because I don't know what's wrong
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And so here we are, and our viewers are going up. And so looks like people are catching on that.
Yeah.
Here we are. We're live over here. Sorry about that. Mercury wiped us away. You know, it's okay. You know, Mercury is interesting that we're having this experience because we must have a lot of mercurial energy. Because did you know Mercury's non-binary?
I've heard that. I have heard that.
Yeah, Mercury is like the non-binary planet.
Yeah.
It is like the planet of gender bending, if you will, like in all the ways that it comes through in our universe. So we'll just say a thank you to Mercury for taking us on a little ride. And just when I thought maybe I'll get rid of StreamYard, maybe I won't. And
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, we tried the other app.
I tried it as well, and it only did 45 minutes of my video. I mean, 45 seconds. And it was a longer video, and I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to go back to StreamYard because it has a lot of nice perks in it, but
it's not working the way it should.
It's not right.
Yeah. So if anyone else out there uses any kind of streaming software, we're using StreamYard right now, and we tried to go live. We went live with Nick Constantine last week with Melon, and it seemed to be fine. But this week, I don't know. I just noticed I had so much value in all of you, all of our viewers. I was like, no, Lacrosse, we're not live.
And I'm like,
the viewer says 0. I know that we're not live because I knew you guys, all of you out there, I knew that all of you were going to be watching. And so I had this like, no, it's impossible. We can't be live. It says we're live, but we're not. Yeah. It was so weird. It was total Mercury retrograde. And you know, so we tried it out. We tried out Melon app and it didn't work for us. So now we're back to this, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And well, good to see you, Sandy.
Yes.
It's great to see you, Sandy. You were one of the people I was thinking about, and you, Jamie. Yeah, you didn't miss 20 minutes of what it's going to be fun to talk about, right? Welcome, Pat. And Tanya, I'm so glad you're here. And you know what, Sandy, you're not late. We're late. Can you believe it?
First time.
It's the first time in like a year.
Yeah.
It's almost a year. We're going to be celebrating a year. And when we do, we're going to have contests and everything. So be watching out for that as we're putting that together. Make sure you check out our website, rainbowsoul.show. And if you didn't know, if you're catching this show for the first time, I'm Hollis Taylor, and I'm one of the hosts of the show, and I'm the author of Divine Androgyny. It's a sacred path for gender variant people, and it's all about how to adjust your own life, and some tips and some ideas to help you get through living in a non-binary world, when you're non-binary. And this is Lacrosse.
I am Lacrosse, Jewish Taino atheist, jack of all trades, and a host of Master of None. Yeah, that about sums me up. It's a quick intro today.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm about to poof myself out of my own kingdom right now. Okay. I'm just like, I'm poof out. I'm done.
It's okay. I'll poof myself out too. Right. Yeah. So it's, if you're having one of those days where you feel like a lot of things are kind of falling off the shelves, just know it's Mercury. Just thank Mercury for being in our lives, because Mercury also rules communication. And without communication, well, we wouldn't all know each other. So, so communication is part of its, So I don't know.
I'm checking right now.
So Berta says we're not live on Facebook, but most of the messages I'm getting are on Facebook.
Yes, we're on. We're
live on Facebook, not on YouTube.
Yep, we're on.
Okay. Brighthawk says we are not live on YouTube. Okay. So,
but I'm here on Facebook.
But she's on Facebook, she says.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube, or why it didn't take us live on YouTube. It should have, but it could have been because I switched. So I don't know what else it could have been.
That's just the Mercury. It's the Mercury. It's I'm gonna blame it all on that. It's
well, if it's not live, if it doesn't get recorded onto YouTube, I'll come back and post the recorded one on YouTube. So I'm glad that we're live somewhere. It does appear that we're live there and probably on Twitch. Yeah. So let's talk about the topic. Let's get to it, because we have some people here. And Quellen says, okay, that makes sense, Quellen. Quellen says that he's watching on Facebook and YouTube, but rainbowsoul.show has unavailable. That makes sense. You know why, Quellen? Because I added the broadcast from the other app to the YouTube playlist, and so then that makes it show up on the website. And so because I had to switch software, it probably won't show on rainbowsoul.show tonight. So I'm going to suggest, if that we'll make a post about that in a moment. So thanks you guys for helping us figure it out. Look at that communication getting us through this Mercury silliness. And so I want to say that one of tonight's topic was fun. I was excited to do tonight, because this is, first of all, one of my favorite people. I met this person at a fairy festival. They're part of the cooking team and set up, I guess. I'm pretty sure they mostly cook. And I was like, when I met them, I was just immediately like, well, we're pretty cool. We're friends. And then we've seen each other in all kinds of places like Las Vegas and part of the magical community. And the beautiful thing about this person is because they're part of the magical community, there's a large part of us that are very comfortable and free about nudity. Okay. There's a large population of us, I would say, in the witchy pagany community. And so, like, for me, I think like you should be able to run around naked, right? And like, I mean, I just don't think, especially if you're in your own yard or whatever. And I get that there's perverts and stuff, but maybe the reason that there's perverts is because we make it wrong. So I have some ideas about nudity and censorship and stuff like that. So tonight I'm really excited to talk about nudity and expression, gender expression, and how that comes through. And tonight is my special guest is Berta Daniels. And I'm going to bring Berta out. Come on out, Berta.
Hey.
Welcome, Berta. It's so awesome to see you. We had a chat and it was great to connect with you. I haven't seen you because our festivals are not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool to connect with you. And why don't you tell us about who you are?
Well, I am a photographer and I like to do images of people that make them feel good about themselves. And I think it's so important to be, as a viewer, to see people who represent people who look like you, right? As well as I feel like it's empowering for people to connect with a sense of place. As a pagan, I connect with nature, and I think a lot of people connect with nature. Some people connect with the city. And it's very freeing and empowering to be naked. So, and I'm getting a whole bunch of people on Facebook telling me they can't see this, but oh well. Sorry. And I've just lost.
Tell them to go to Rainbow Soul. Tell them to go to Rainbow Soul Vodcast. Tell them to search pound Rainbow Soul Vodcast. And then they should see the Rainbow Soul page. Because they're probably trying to look at that link that I had you post. Because that's normally where it would come through too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
but I did send the link. I sent the link in the message.
Okay.
In the chat.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome, Karen Key. And it looks like YouTube is working.
Okay.
Jamie Angel is on YouTube. And we're still getting more Facebook. Karen C. I don't know if you know these people, Berta. Karen C. And Pat Camarena Rose Barbary.
Yep, I know these people, and some of them have modeled for me, which is great.
Fantastic. So glad they're here.
Yeah,
and well, we have that in common because I have too. And it's it's an experience, to do it in nature,
Wait a second, I should be bringing it back up. Yeah, well, I think that it's empowering. So when I go to photograph somebody for my artwork, because I also do editorial, but when I go to photograph somebody for my art, I feel like it's a collaboration between myself and the person who comes out into nature, the people who come out into nature with me. And I say to them, I want you to think about where it is in the world that makes you feel good about yourself and free and powerful. And so, sometimes we are at a festival and I'm like, so where here can you feel free and powerful and wonderful because we're here. But, if we're just like out in the world, I'm like, so where do you like to go that makes you feel? And then we try to go to a place that they either choose or they say, hey, this is the kind of place that I feel really good about myself. Like I love the ocean, so let's go to the ocean. So I go, okay. And so that's what we do.
And you have a beautiful book, and I'm gonna work on getting their page up for you guys, so you guys can go take a look at Berta's what's the name of your book? Crossroads.
My book is Crossroads. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can't get a copy of it so that I can read us a little meditation that I wrote. This sort of explains what the name of my book is about. Hold on one second. I'm cruising through my life here. And I thought I had the book right here, but apparently I don't. So if you'll excuse me for 2 seconds. speak amongst yourselves, and I will be right back. How about that?
Yeah. So Lacrosse, I don't know if you've ever done it. If you've ever been nude.
You guys
we're
seconds.
Yep. And the I don't know if you've ever posed nude or whatever, but I have several times, not just for pornography, but for artists. And
I think the most I ever did was when I for my celebration of my top surgery, I did do a shirtless photo shoot. And yeah, it was something else. It was hard. It was hard for me at first because you get conditioned in your mindset from childhood, especially coming from an uber religious background. It's like, cover yourself up, don't show anything. And they make it dirty, and sadly, some of us are really, really conditioned to just for me to take my shirt off. Like, people told me, oh, when you get your surgery, you're just going to rip off your shirt. And I'm like, oh, the hell I am. I'm not, because it's that mindset that you get preconditioned to think of. So
I hope that Facebook
does
not put me in Facebook jail for doing this, but
no, the first thing it will do is blank out that part of the video.
Yeah, they probably will. But
yeah,
it keeps.
And that's what we're here to talk. That's one of the topics that I wanted to talk about tonight is censorship. We've become such a we want to I don't even know why Americans are like this. Like in France, it's not that big of a deal, but in other countries, a nude body isn't. No,
it's really not
so filtered. It's the United States in particular, conservative, to not see a naked body that we would get edited on Facebook. We would just, even if it's not in a sexual position, if it's just art. And I guess the argument is they don't know where that line is. Between the art and the photography, between the art, photography, and pornography, they don't know where that line is. And that feels like that line gets art and the photography.
It's not even that.
Between the art, photography, and pornography, they don't know where that line. Somebody's echoing.
I'm looking.
On art and the photography.
It's not even that.
Between the art, photography.
Okay. Are we good? Did we catch it?
Are we good?
I think so. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
For a minute.
Okay, I think the echo's gone.
Okay. Did we get that over? Okay. Yeah. So just the line between what photography and what's pornography, and I think that's the line that they get confused on.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody has a body, and we are all naked under our clothes, and sometimes we're all naked without our clothes. And I mean, part of my mission, and I say this in my book, part of my mission is to help people to feel empowered about the body that they're living in, whether it's the body that you ultimately want to have, or the body that you have now. And it's not just about being queer and about being trans or about being gender fluid. It's people age, or people have issues with their weight, or people just don't like themselves for one reason or another. And it's so sad because
it's like I was saying, I just know it's such a preconditioned mindset. Like within myself, it's a preconditioned mindset. Now, I love looking at it. Like I love looking at art. I don't believe it should be censored. I don't know that I have the courage to actually do anything, but I look at it all day, every day, because it's beautiful. The human body is something beautiful to be enjoyed, to, whatever size, shape, whatever.
Well, right. But you're one of the people that I would say, it's really empowering to see yourself and to be seen by others in a way, in a place where you feel powerful and good about yourself and beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that comes through in the images.
Well, I think that's what Lacrosse was talking about when you did a photo shoot without your shirt. Yes. After your top surgery.
Yes.
That had to be really powerful for you. Like
it was vulnerable, very vulnerable, but at the same token, I don't know if it was so much empowering. Like it is empowering, but I kept thinking to myself, there's going to be somebody who's older like myself who may be scared to get that surgery. And if they see that I have the courage to do it, maybe they in turn can realize you're not too old, you're not too, because too many people are like, you transition so late in life. Well, who cares? I mean, a lot of people do things late in life. But at that point, I felt if it could just help one person or even a young person, and they could see that and say, wow, I think I can do that. I think I have the courage, and that helped me along. But no, it was very vulnerable. But I would say, yeah, it was empowering. I guess I could say it was empowering in some ways.
Ooh, I'm trying to figure out how to upload images. Sorry.
So Jamie says, when I was doing modeling, it was very interesting as there were some photographers and life studies classes that it felt fine and wonderful. But I had one photographer that was amazing and great at giving empowerment. Had another one I have not worked with since because there were aspects that he wanted to include in a subsequent shoot that I was not comfortable with. So I declined to do a subsequent ones. But I think Jamie, that's like anybody, I think anyone has that. I think knowing where your limit is, and you're saying Lacrosse, your limit is there, that doing that topless was kind of like enough for you to experience it and get the message. And for me, going from being a sex worker and an adult star to doing more art was actually kind of empowering. Like for me to truly walk away from being a professional to doing, because Berta's not the only person I posed for. I also posed for another person that and just doing it is like, wow, I'm now not being seen as a sex object. Now I'm being seen as something else. And there's definitely an energy change over, there's definitely an energy change that I could easily distinguish, but not everybody is clear as I guess maybe some others, where those lines are. But maybe that line is between the photographer and the person, the model. It's not, but then the viewer comes into point.
I was going to say some of it is between the photographer and the model, and then some of it is about the viewer and about, how is the image presented?
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
I have taken some incredibly sexy photos of people that aren't porn, but if you put them in a different context, they could be.
Right.
So I think a lot of it's contextual.
But I mean, not only does everybody have nude bodies, but pretty much everybody also has sex, or at some point in their life, hopefully.
Or not. I mean, depending on how you feel about having sex. There are some people who really
I guess there's some people that don't, right? But a lot of people do.
Maybe they just want to have sex with themselves, and that's fine too.
Right.
Yeah, sure. And there's a lot of different sexual expressions though, in that, like, I just not always sure that some of the things that happen in extreme pornography are totally off, but I'm not sure that always blocking sexual things is necessary either. It just needs to, there needs to be some shifts that have happened in the adult world too. And that's a different topic.
I mean, I think that what I'm doing with my art is like the anti-porn in a way, because I don't want people to be seen as objects. I want them to be seen for the spiritual and beautiful people that they are.
Right. And I think that's an important part of this is them feeling that confidence and strength after they've been vulnerable, because I think you have to be vulnerable from the door. Like, I mean, there are some people, they can just take it all off and say, here I am, and God love you for that, but there are some people who it's like, okay, I'm taking a big step here and I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm opening myself up. And that takes a lot of courage to do that. And, and that even of itself, that's a spiritual thing. And then
it totally does. Although it's so.
And I think
I used to be told, because I didn't start my project. No, it's fine. I didn't start my project or my art photography by essentially doing mostly nudes. I used to just take people out in nature and photograph them and have them present themselves. I said, look, I just want you to present yourself in a way that makes you feel good about yourself and makes you feel powerful.
Right.
And so then we would get out into nature and people would be like, oh, I've never been nude before. Do I have to be naked? I'd be like, no, really. It's you look great. Everything is fine. And I'd like turn around to like change my lens or something, and I'd turn back around and they'd be nude. And I'd be like, okay, we're gonna do this.
I guess I think that'd be awesome, because I was actually looking at your website, and there is like this beautiful primal energy, like going back to the earth and going back to that tribal sense of feeling. That's why I was saying, like, that spirituality, it's like when you're out there in nature, you can't connect any more than not having all these barriers on you when you're out there. So I can't even imagine like the high energy that they're absorbing from the earth. And then you having the eye, which is so important for somebody to be able to have the eye to capture that moment, that spiritual moment, and make it last forever. Like that's an incredible gift.
Thank you. Well,
I was about to say, many of us have skinny dipped, but how many of us have like sat on a mossy tree with a nude butt?
If you want to show that image, I have it here somewhere, but I don't know how to get it to you.
You can just email it to me, or you can send it on Facebook Messenger, or you can email it to me. I think I can also give you the option to share your screen.
Send it over on Facebook Messenger.
Okay. Yeah, so it's I'm just saying that, like, if you haven't experienced that, even if you're alone, just putting your body, just start with just a tree, and look at it. You can make sure there's no bugs if you want, and then and then sit down, just try it, and you start to trust nature more, is what I noticed. You start to trust the land that you're on more, and be less walking around in fear of a snake, a bug biting you, a mosquito biting you, a spider.
Well, as somebody with an earth-based spirituality, I feel like I get a lot of my energy through my connection with the earth. And it feeds me, and I hopefully will feed it back, or do feed it back. And there's an energy exchange that I think is so important. I had a little thing written about that, but let me start sending you some images so that you can upload them if you'd like.
Okay. And I was just going to say that, so if you've ever had the experience of skinny dipping, some people have skinny dipped in wild waters. I did it when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
So, you know, but I was, you know, I was probably a little bit of a brave kid, probably. But you know, if you've had that feeling of being in like in a river or a bay or something, nude with no clothes, it's not much different than that, you know.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of people have had that experience. Skinny dipping, a lot of people go skinny dipping. Yeah. All right, I got him, Berta.
Okay, well that's one. The folder I was about to send you just disappeared, and I'm trying to find it. Sorry, I was like, what happened? I'm having like the Mercury.
So we've had that's why I just so yeah, like it's the thing about Berta's book is that the people they're not, there are androgynous people, and there are women, and there are men, and there are different shapes and sizes and types of people.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And this he's got a didgeridoo up on his that's a didgeridoo, and he's on a tree there, and it almost looks like it might be in the south there. Berta, do you know where you were?
Good friend Jay, who I think is on here with us tonight somewhere. I saw him flash up on Facebook. And he and I did a little shoot for him, for me, for all of us in his backyard when he lived in Rhode Island, and he had a beautiful little river running through his yard, and we painted him up with some body paint. And musician, many of us in the family of fire know him. Yeah. And this was a few years ago, and he tells me he loves that image. It made him feel very empowered.
Yeah, it looks like I said, you could just see that primal, like almost returning back to the roots of the land. You know, it's very tribal. It's a beautiful picture.
Thank you. I'm trying to send you some more stuff. I'm just sending a bunch of images from the book, and some are not. Well, as you can see, that one was not from the book. And there are people that come back and you know, work with me repeatedly, and there are people that I've shot once that maybe will come back, and I hope will come back, but you know, some of them don't. And we, you know, it's about storytelling, and it's about having people being able to express themselves in their own stories. Did you just get this stuff? Did that all come through?
Yeah, I'm getting it. Mm-hmm. I'm getting them one at a time. I was wondering about this. Was really beautiful. But I'm looking at your little stars. I see your little stars. Thanks for keeping us out of Facebook jail.
I know, right? So I have basically censored these images in the most obnoxious way possible, because I feel like the censorship that's going on Instagram and on Facebook is just wrong.
Yeah.
I think that it really I can't even say fetishizes you know, nudity in a way that's unhealthy, and you know, these images are about having a more healthy relationship with your body instead of, you know, objectifying bodies. Right. So this is my friend Karen, and she has modeled for me numerous times at this point. And she was going through something, and we went out to Robert Moses Beach on Fire Island, or Long Island maybe, and the wind was blowing, and we had another friend with us, and we did this, and it was a very powerful shoot for all of us, I think. And maybe she'll chime in on this, but
That's great.
Part of my thing is I allow people to work through, to use the time we have together and to use creating these images to help them work through, something that they're working on.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, I like this one.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
That's like so fabulous to me. It's like the old sage.
Yeah.
And you almost want to like go sit with him and ask him some good wise questions. Right?
Yeah. This is a friend I made in the Netherlands. His name is Kees. And I met him on Model Mayhem, and he was very interested in my project. And he was telling me that he feels so attached to trees and how the of trees are almost erotic because they're so, connected to everything. And so we were out in this beautiful, beautiful park near Utrecht, and he was telling me the story about how he got his tattoo, and it was just amazing. So yeah, that's part of.
Yeah, and I meant to describe all the images, and now that we got them all uploaded, it'd be easier for me. But this one here is because sometimes this is a podcast as well. It goes out to a whole bunch of podcasts. So if you want to catch us on a podcast format, you can look for us on Spotify, Rainbow Soul. And this image here is an older man, kind of resembling a little bit of like a skinnier Santa Claus, with the large white beard, and he just has nothing more than a necklace around his neck, and he's sitting on a tree that almost looks like it was made for people to sit in. And it's old. The tree is old, and so is he, and it feels very wise and sort of wise old man, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, well, it was very like earth elemental,
For sure. And this image here.
Ooh, that hasn't been censored. Okay.
Okay. But I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem offensive. Do you think Facebook will censor me?
Who knows? I never know. I never know what they're going to censor and what they're not going to censor.
Yeah. And I think
sometimes
I thought this one was really good too. Like these are like men in the forest. And I just thought it was very masculine. And
can we go back to the other one for a minute?
This one?
That one. So this is my friend Joe, who is a trans man. And this was the first nude shoot that he'd done, and he's a musician, and he's amazing. And it was very empowering for him to be running through the forest naked.
That's stunning.
Mm-hmm.
That is stunning. There's a sense you could just see the freedom in his face.
Mm-hmm. Deeply experiencing that, yes. And it's masculine and surrendering at the same time, which you don't always see in the same place. But give it a trans man to bring something like that through, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of his beard.
The special talent that only trans men seem to have. Yeah, they bring through a masculinity that's more broad. Yeah, I think we've talked about it with lacrosse here, because the experience of being of having the monthly hormone experience and everything, and then to transition over to a trans man, they have a perspective.
I think that queer men have a much healthier relationship with masculinity than most straight men in our society. And you can go to the next. You can go back to that other image because I want to look at that one.
The other guy here.
Yeah, the other guy.
This other man.
So the other man is Jason, and he's actually, he's just a guy in the woods wearing a sparkly necklace. And
that's great.
And he's somebody who was exploring his a more healthy sense of masculinity. I mean, he is married to a woman, they have a small child, but he feels like heterosexual culture. If he's on and I'm speaking for you, Jason, and but I think he feels like heterosexual society has a very narrow grasp of what gender should be, and that he's open to exploring, and this was part of what we were doing. He's open to exploring a more healthy and in touch with his feelings kind of masculinity.
I would say he holds curiosity. This has a lot of curiosity. Like he feels like he's being curious, which I can always appreciate that look on someone's face, being curious. So this is a picture of a, I'm not sure of his race, but to me, he looks like he might be something other than Irish European or something like that. And he's got dark hair and a dark beard, and is essentially what you can see is a naked man climbing on a tree. You can't see his private parts or anything like that because he's posed in a way in which you can't. He's a nice Jewish boy, says Jay Atwood. He's a nice Jewish boy. Thanks, Jay.
He's a nice Jewish boy.
That's great.
Jay knew. Thanks, Jay. And I thought this image is really beautiful because different people come in different sizes and different expressions, and I appreciate that this is a bigger person, and I appreciate their body art, actually. Their tattoos, but I have a tendency to look at people's tattoos close.
Body art is amazing.
Yeah, and just the body art is amazing, but also where she is that maybe like California? Where are you at there?
I want to give a shout out to the people in Western New York who own Brushwood, which is a clothing optional pagan camp where I've done many of these images. And they have a couple of festivals in the summertime. Actually, they have a number of festivals in the summertime. But they are pretty great, and they really encourage people to be themselves and magic to happen and all kinds of good stuff. So,
well, I think you captured her freedom, and I remember when I was like 20 and I still was embraced in my femininity and arrived at my first pagan fire where everyone was dancing around naked. And I was like, whoa. And that's what this reminded me of. I don't have a picture of that moment, right? But that's what this reminded me of.
Yeah, this is her stage name is Fat Mandy. That's MAN-DEE. She is part of the queer community, and she does burlesque in Pittsburgh, and she has the most beautiful voice, and she was singing and dancing for me, and it was just transcendent.
Wow. It's beautiful, beautiful. And this picture, I was like, wow. It actually reminds me of a tarot card. Now I want to find the tarot card, but you tell us about it, Berta. You tell us about it.
All right. This is actually this is a very old picture. I took this of my good friend Rob Bykoff. And we were in Massachusetts on a rainy, cold March day in the Fells. And I call this image Shining Man because he was just on fire. Standing in the river, but just glowing, you know. I mean, it's not just his skin tone, but like his whole energy was just glowing. And he was, you know, quite the mover and shaker, and amazing person. So
and where were you?
So there's a park in Massachusetts called the Fells, and it's a nature reserve, and it has rivers and hills, and it's a very magical place actually. And so we went there for an afternoon. And
well, once again, you captured at the same time a masculine person experiencing a more feminine, soft, emotional side. And that's what this is the card it reminded me of, which is this guy who's soaking in water.
Can't really see it. I think you have to.
You got
to take the picture off.
Yeah, take the picture off and let's see it.
Yeah. Whoops. Wow. Yeah.
And it's so funny because he said to me, this is one of the very few images of himself that he actually wanted to have up in his.
Oh, well, to me it was just
oh yeah.
Oh.
Okay, I took the picture down so you could put the card up. I couldn't see the card.
Sorry.
There we go. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was laughing because I was like, wow, that's weird. But he's not running or whatever. He's, you know, and I was just like, that's a slightly different energy, but the water and the man in the water, it's like that same masculine and watery energy. So, and you know, we'd like men to have emotions and stuff like that.
Yes, and I think most people would like emotions.
And I think I personally, I thought I was very pleased when I seen this picture. That there I was, and hopefully I won't get, I don't know if I'm going to get the pictures to, that was a picture of me. So, right. And I was very pleased, but I'm afraid that if they're going to, do they need to censor that? Don't they need to censor that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want Facebook to block me out.
I know, right? I thought I had.
They have.
Oh, no. I thought I had. Yeah. Some of my little censorship saves have not been saved. Hang on, let me see if I can do this again. Hold on a second.
Okay, it's okay.
You're supposed to be wearing.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Hold on a second. Let me try. Let me send this back to you.
Okay, because I'm looking at the thumbnails. I'm doing it really small right now. But the point, it doesn't bother me, except that I don't want Facebook to give us a hard time.
It doesn't bother me. I don't want Facebook to like put us all in Facebook jail, which they will.
Right. I know.
They're quick. They're quick.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Right. Let's try this.
So let's see what Jamie said. It's okay. Hold on. I wonder how many pagan people at clothing optional events watch and wait for others to be the first to shed their clothes before doing so themselves. You know what? That's funny, Jamie. I can actually answer that question. In my experience, there's always a couple that are so eager that they just don't even care. Or they're setting up their tent, and it's so hot that they've now stripped off. They've realized where they are, and they're like, oh, just take it off, because you're, drenched in sweat and you're setting up a tent. So that's kind of like the feel of a pagan festival. That wouldn't be unusual for that to happen, for somebody to be just like stripping down while they're setting up their tent, setting up their camp.
Yeah, no, it's true. I was so disappointed at a certain fairy festival when I was setting up my tent, and I was like, and I hear like screaming at me across the field, "Put your shirt back on. This is a family event." And I'm like, but
right. No. Yeah. So it can become very comfortable, and it can also, because of the way our world is today, it can also create a little bit of attraction for perverts sometimes, and it's annoying. I'm not gonna lie and say that it doesn't happen, because it definitely does, and it's annoying to most of us. Like, to most of us, we're like, don't be a perv about it, man.
Yeah, I find that a lot of times when pervs show up at our events, they get taught some manners. And they may still be pervs, but at least they're not like in your face by the end of the time. People are like, no, be cool. Be cool.
Yeah, usually some of the bigger guys or some bigger people, not always guys, will take a person aside and correct him. If he's, and I'll tell you what, I've had the inappropriateness. I had an inappropriate moment. And just because I had earlier in the conversation said that it was a bunch of people standing around and we were having a conversation that I was a sex worker. And then later he decided that it was okay to spank me.
No.
In front of a whole bunch of people. And let me tell you what, all of those pagan men, and Nick Constantine was one of them, stood up and said, no, you can't do this.
No,
and backed him down. They stood up to him and they were like, no, this clearly Hollis did not invite that, and we're not doing that. And they backed him up, and he was drunk, of course. So they sent him back. So they sent him packing, if you will, like, go back to your tent. You're no more partying with everybody tonight. Go home.
Yeah,
type of
I
thing.
think it can be difficult for people who are new to the environment and who didn't like Europe. There are spas where you just are naked with everybody and it's not a big deal. And in the US, it's a little different. And I think it's especially coming into a pagan event where it's clothing optional and people express their sexuality sometimes and are very playful about it, but it's all about consent. And, it's all about empowerment and consent. It's like, I get to do this because this is what I want to do. You don't get to do this to me because I didn't consent to it.
Right.
And I think that sometimes it's difficult for people who come in from mainstream society to understand that.
Yeah.
Right. And it does, and nudity does not give permission for sexual advancement. And that somehow gets confused.
No.
It does sometimes, and people have to be corrected. And I think if we don't say anything to the guys, how are they ever going to learn?
Well, that's true. That's true. But nudity is not an invitation for, whatever. And,
So I think most of the time we try to you know, people try to say something. There's usually a couple of stronger people, like Berta might be one of those people that comes and visits a person that has been inappropriate in some way. I've been that person, and it can be, you know, it can be a lot. And you know, it's a beautiful expression of the human body, which is as natural as those trees, as the water, as the bush. And why we censor it, well, that's that we don't totally get. So I'm glad that we're watching tonight, and I see that we're zooming on in towards the end of this. I want to give a chance, if anyone had a dream, post it in the comments. Post it in the comments. We're going to take a little break, and we'll come right back, and we'll continue to show some more photos. Maybe we'll actually get my photo up. And
that would be good. And I would like to invite people to ask questions or comments if they have anything to say to me.
Please ask questions. Please put that in the comments. And when we come back, we will hopefully Lacrosse will interpret a dream.
Great.
Support Rainbow Soul. Check out the Rainbow Soul merchandise for your favorite new shirt. A variety of colors and styles to suit your taste. Show off your love for Rainbow Soul. Get cool designs with your favorite quotes. Designs come in a variety of colors so that you can express your most authentic self. Support Rainbow Soul in spreading the word that queer, gender variant, intersex, transgender is sacred. Rainbow Soul, putting the soul back into queer. Order your unique Rainbow Soul merchandise at rainbowsoul.show.
Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So what exactly does that mean? It is a figure of speech in reference to a person who has dabbled in many things rather than gaining expertise by only focusing on one. So much knowledge and wisdom out there at our fingertips, yet so difficult to grasp. Everything and everyone has a little piece of the truth, and it is up to us to determine what our truth is. In this busy world, creating the time, the space to nourish our bodies, mind, and soul has become a difficult task. So let's take a moment to learn something small, in whatever way the universe decides to reveal it. It could be someone's story, a quote, a spiritual practice, maybe a song or a movie. The opportunities are limitless and all around us if we just take a moment to see. We are all students of life experiences, so let us learn from one another. There is no right or wrong path. There is only your path and your journey. So let's begin our adventure and explore all the world has to offer, and let us become a master of none.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I don't know if we got a dream yet. I don't think so. But did you have anything you want to offer, or you want to wait and see if we get a dream?
I think I did see something.
Oh, did you see one?
Right here. Not my own. Okay. Maybe that's not a dream. I don't know.
But had some friends when I was in school.
I think that had to do. Yeah.
Yeah. That had to do with my skinny dip.
Yeah.
My skinny dip. Well, if you've ever been skinny dipping before, yeah, it's all good. Oh, Sandy just put her dream up. My sister and I baked Barack Obama a chocolate cake, and he was parked in front of our house. And when we went to give it to him, we got sand stickers in our feet, and he helped pick them out with tweezers. Oh my gosh. What a weird one, Sandy. Did you wake up laughing?
Wow. How else do we want to get? Okay. I think this is obviously Barack Obama represents a person of power, a person of authority, and them going out to, basically give a gift or some gift to this authority or authoritative figure. And then they ended up getting prickled under their feet. So it's like there was a price to pay for the good that they were trying to do. But in turn, that thing of authority came around and removed the pricklers, which was, it looks like a full circle there to me. So I think it's just processing, helping somebody of authority out and feeling you got a little burn. But then that person came back around and said, nope, it's okay. Let me just take these out of your feet. It's not like that. So it seemed pretty quick. But
it sounds like Sandy's not a registered
voter. Not a registered voter.
Well,
so it's anything of authority. It could be anything, a teacher, a elder, anything.
Wow.
So
yeah. So, well, Sandy, I hope you choose to vote, though, even if you're not a registered voter. I hope you still vote. And so anyway, Berta, so now I have another photo. I got the new photo uploaded. So now everybody can take a look at this photo, which I appreciate it's in color because I'm very in color. And I love the moss on the trees.
Yeah, I love the lushness of the forest around you too.
This is when I was very, very androgynously shaving my head regularly every month with my cycle. My cycle started to get obnoxious, and so I just started to shave my head. And sometimes I would there's a practice by many witches in which we talk about sitting at the base of a tree, like bleeding into the earth. There are a lot of people that talk about this. And we talk about it as being a sacred experience so that you can connect with nature and connect with the cycle, your cycle, and what it is and what it means to have a cycle. And that's exactly what's going on there. Is that I'm just thinking about where I was, because this was years ago. Okay. So this is a picture.
Not long ago. It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And so it was, it feels like that long.
Well, yeah.
The pandemic and everything else makes it feel really long ago.
Yeah.
I feel like 2020 changed things in a strange way. It's like it's almost like the year that didn't happen, but then it made like the before time feel like long ago and far away.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And I would say that one of the things that I appreciate about your images, Berta, is that you don't stick to one type of body style or even gender expressions. And you have queer people represented for sure. Because I know I'm not the only one.
No, I have a lot of queer people represented. Most of the people in my book, in fact, are not exactly straight, even if some of them, identify that way. They are allies. They are, somewhere in the middle of the Kinsey scale. Who knows? But,
yeah. Well, look at this. It's so great to see you, Jay. I'm glad to have you here tonight, Jay. An unexpected surprise of having my friend Berta that you would come out to. So welcome, Jay. And Jay says to Berta, one of the things that I'm most grateful for is how you have documented our community over the years. Can you speak to what that's like for you? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's intentionally documenting our community, but I've certainly been photographing in our community for a long time. I sort of entered this world when I was in my very early 20s, late teens, early 20s, and I've been taking pictures ever since. And it's really fascinating for me to have made this connection with so many people through my art. And there are some people that I've photographed over and over again, and I get history of hair and the way their bodies change, and and I photograph myself doing the same thing, my history of hair and the way my body changes. But I think it's important to see ourselves, and to acknowledge those changes and to be like, oh, this is cool. Look at us.
I was wondering, is there a mindset you put yourself in, like right before, or something you do with them? I don't know, anything like ritual or just something to prepare for that moment?
Yeah, I do. I mean, so the photography that I do when I go out, out into the woods or out into the ocean or wherever we go is a very intimate thing. And I do touch base with the elements around me, like formally. And I think about casting a little circle of protection, especially if we're out someplace public. And then if the person that I'm with is of this spiritual path, sometimes we do a little ritual together. We breathe together. We connect to the elements where we are. We certainly talk about how empowering it is to connect with the primal forces of nature. And then part of my being with these people when we go out is it gives them the permission, because I think some people feel like they need permission to live their lives and do things. But it gives them the permission to explore and connect with the natural world that they may have always wanted to, but haven't. So, and then of course, being with pagans, we're all like rolling in the dirt and connecting with nature. Well, many of us are, but it's we create a sacred space when we go out and do this work.
Right. Yeah. And it's definitely I think it's really beautiful. I think your book is amazing. It's called Crossroads. You guys, you get a special discount if you want to get Berta's. So Berta, because we started on the other place, I didn't get your banner set up. So
that's okay.
So can you tell us what they need to do, how to get your
all right. So do not buy my book on Amazon, please. You can, but please buy it through me and I will give you a discount. Mention Rainbow Soul, and my email address is badcam, that is BADCAM at earthlink, EARTHLINK.net. And so if you want to reach out to me, I will be happy to sell you a book and ship it off to you and sign it for you.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, yeah, that's beautiful, because the book is, just a collection of images. And don't you have a little bit of a story or something? What is the text? Isn't there a bit of text?
So the way this book came to be is I did a workshop with Joyce Tennyson, who is this amazing photographer. She's actually kind of famous photographer who's done a bunch of nudes, and she does a workshop that I'm just going to plug right here, called the Workshop for Creative Women. And I think she does it through the Santa Fe Center for Photography, but she's amazing. And her workshop was less about photography and more about empowering women to be their best creative selves. And so she looked at my work and she said, I love your work. I have good news and bad news. I was like, okay. She's like, your work is really great and it doesn't look like anybody else's. I'm like, okay, so what's the bad news? She's like, your work is really great and it doesn't look like anybody else's. So it's really going to be difficult for you to promote yourself because people, want to see stuff that looks like everybody else's. I'm like, all right, well, that's not terrible. She's like, but you have to publish a book so that, it's out there in the world. If you're going to put your stuff out in the world, you have to publish a book so that people know that this is your style, because somebody's going to come along and steal your style. And then everybody's going to go like, oh, yeah, you're copying that person. Well, actually, they copied you, but they were better at promoting themselves. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. In 2017, I published this book. And she said, I need to write a little foreword to talk about what this book is about, what the name means. And I said, okay, I'm just going to read this to you guys. It's a little meditation that if I can do this, it's a little meditation that I wrote because I was like, what do I have to say about this? So if I can get this to someplace I can read it, I'm just going to do this, and you can follow me along as a meditation, or you can just enjoy it as a poem. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel yourself in your body. Feel your feet firmly planted on the earth. Breathe in and feel your heart open. Open your eyes and find yourself at the crossroads, at the center of all things. Stand at the place where anything is possible, where journeys begin and end, where you must be the best version of your most authentic self before you take a step in any direction, lest you lose yourself or walk down the wrong road. Close your eyes and center. Open them again and find yourself at the crossroads at midday, at the marketplace and meeting place of the universe. Feel the bustle of energy flowing around you as the world hustles and dances to meet its needs and fulfill its desires. Here is the place of opportunity. Here is the place of commerce. Here is the place of the exchange of energy and ideas, of goods and services, and even identities. What did you bring with you, and what will you leave behind? What will you acquire, and what will you sell or trade or barter or simply give away? Who will you meet, and what alliances will you form, and what relationships will you leave? Where are you now, and who will you become? Take it all in. Take it all in a swirl of color and light and sound and touch. Eat the fruit and drink the wine. Take it all in. And when you are done, close your eyes and let it all go. Take a deep breath and find yourself at the crossroads at midnight. Here is the place between the worlds, the gateway between light and shadow, the place that only you know. Are you standing on the cobblestone streets in the town square under the lamplight, or do you find yourself on a dusty road in a high, dry place in the mountains where you can see the road stretch out in each direction before you? Or do you find yourself deep in the forest, with the stars winking through the high branches of the trees and the soft smell of pine underfoot? Or do you find yourself somewhere entirely different, where you can't see the meeting of the roads or the road that you're on, but you know that it's there? And just one step in any direction will change your life forever. But you can't stay here. We are all on a journey, and there is not just one crossroads, but many. Some journeys are long and rambling, some are easy, some are difficult. But when you come to the crossroads, everything changes. And the road that you choose to travel will eventually lead you home to yourself.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
I think we just soak that in for a minute. Just allow it to process in your brain. It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, wow. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you have that beautiful opening. And I think that's a great way for us to close the show tonight. And so I'm going to move on. And if you have any more questions for Berta, please put them in the comments. And in the meantime, we're going to do a tarot reading. And this is the Love is Love deck. It's a pride deck. And every single card is done by a different LGBTQIA artist. And so it's a completely collaborative deck. And I think collaboration is awesome. And I also think, queers are awesome. So it's perfect deck for me. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. And I hope that you would take only what you like. Take what really resonates with you. Take whatever lands in your heart and you go, that was meant for me. And anything else, just leave it. It's probably meant for somebody else. So no worries about it. And so this first card here is a beautiful card that reminds us of youth and childhood and playfulness and that kind of energy. And, and the treat, getting the treat and everything sort of being rainbowy and bright. Hopefully there was a time in your childhood that you remember something like that. And if you don't, you can create it now. And especially if you view another child experiencing it, it's beautiful. And that's what this is. It's to remind you of that innocence, of that playfulness, of that inner child that comes out and does whatever. And that's what this is, to remind you to play. Remind you to play. It's to remind you to have a good time. And this next card is my favorite androgynous being, is the Queen of Cups. And this beautiful androgynous person also has a beard, and the way they look with the dove there on their hand, about the bird about to take off. See it there? And you can see that this person's very sort of decorated, but standing on this octopus who's holding looks like a cup of coffee or hot cocoa, right? And so almost as if to hold it until this person is ready for it, right? And this is the Queen of Cups. And so this is to remember about our own power and who we are, and that authenticity is power. And all of our bodies, this is a perfect card about that. All of our bodies, all of our expressions, all the different ways that we come through is what makes up the rainbow. And that's why we need it. We need all those authentic expressions because it makes our world more rich. And that's the reminder of this card here, is about authenticity. And that's where you stand in your power. That's where you are the strongest. That's where you impact the world the most, when you are authentically yours, when you are 100% you. And the next card is all about going forward. And it's a great reminder. This is a great reminder about balance and about what we're taking in and what we're consuming. And it's also about how we spend our time and how we how we spend our resources. And so this is about being careful about that and being balanced about it. This is all about balancing it. You can see this person is pouring into a cup in a magnificent way. They're managing it. They're balancing it. And this is also, they're meant to be also very balanced. And so this is a card about reminding us to balance our self-care, to take care of ourselves. Make sure you do something for yourself. Give yourself a bath. Take yourself to, do whatever it is that you need to do that makes you feel good. Watch a movie. Those things are really important, and that's what this card is all about. It's about feeding your soul and not doing too much of that, and make sure that you balance it with other things that you do to take care of yourself. And that's what this card was about. It's all about authenticity and holding your authenticity, and that's what makes you powerful. But don't forget your loving little inner child that is totally wants to remind you to smile and have a good time and play. So take all three of those and take what you like, leave the rest. And I enjoyed the show. I want to thank you, Berta. Thank you so much for being on the show. I so appreciate you. And Mercury retrograde, hot mess, but I think we might be sticking with StreamYard.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's at least working.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I want to thank you, Lacrosse. Thank you so much for co-hosting with me and helping me out with the managing this platform. I went from one platform. Well, I'm grateful that you can help me out on this one. I forgot that you could help me. I was like, oh, thank you.
I was thinking, I'm like, oh man. So I started, oh no, let me do this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, because it's a lot. It actually takes a lot. So I appreciate all of you, all of the viewers. I count on you, and I'm so glad that you guys are here every time, every week, every Sunday. We appreciate you. I love that you can join in the conversation, and I love that you're here. So I want to say thank you for watching Rainbow Soul, and I want to bid you good night. And thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching Rainbow Soul, a queer perspective on spirituality beyond religion. We appreciate you sharing the show on your timeline, follow us on social media of your choice, and join our Facebook group, Rainbow Soul. We want to hear from you. Share your topic ideas for Hollis and Lacrosse. Explore upcoming shows and interesting guests. The Rainbow Soul Facebook group, where we build community of questioning seekers. Rainbow Soul, where spirituality is our medicine.
Support Rainbow Soul. Check out the Rainbow Soul merchandise for your favorite new shirt. A variety of colors and styles to suit your taste. Show off your love for Rainbow Soul. Get cool designs with your favorite quotes. Designs come in a variety of colors so that you can express your most authentic self. Support Rainbow Soul in spreading the word that queer, gender variant, intersex, transgender is sacred. Rainbow Soul, putting the soul back into queer. Order your unique Rainbow Soul merchandise at rainbowsoul.show.